This one is for all you worriers. Welcome to Sober Living Snippets, where we live alcohol-free so we can heal our relationships, feel youthful again, and ditch regret and shame. I'm Becca Jacobson, and I have a worry for you. Oh, no, I've got a snippet for you. Yeah, that's what I have, a snippet. This one's for all you worriers. My goal is to turn you into a warrior. All right, are you with me? Let's talk about worry. We've talked about it before, and I know you know that it's pointless. I know you know that worry helps nothing. I know you know that worry is bad for you. You know, I know you know, you know, you know, right? And yet you worry. Oh my goodness. Well, guess what? Not only that, but some of us, you know who you are. Actually, if we're going to be honest with ourselves, so take a deep breath and decide whether or not you're going to be honest about this. Some of us actually feel that if we're not worrying, we're not being responsible. In fact, if you're not worrying, things might actually fall apart. In fact, if you're not worrying, you're not a good mother, not a good grandmother, not a good partner, not a good employee, not a good business owner. In fact, it is part of your responsibility. Worrying is part of your job. And if you stop, what would happen? Now, I want you to take another deep breath and look deeply inside and ask yourself if that applies to you. I can tell you right now that it did apply to me. I didn't know it though. So this is a tricky one. We really do have to look inside and be honest with ourselves. It never occurred to me that this was true for me until I finally allowed myself to see it. Here's what we're saying. We know that worrying is bad, and we're going to talk more about that in a minute because it's more than just bad. We'll talk about why and what it means. But we know that it's pointless. So, nobody's going to say to you, oh, no, I think worrying's great. I believe in worrying. In fact, I'm a member of the Worry Club. We get together once a week and we all sit in a circle and worry as hard as we can because we know it's helpful. I mean, no, doesn't happen. So we agree worrying's bad. And yet there is a part of us deep down inside that feels guilt if we don't worry. If we're just taking it easy and we are at peace and we're breathing deeply and we're allowing our lives to happen, we're not being responsible because there are people out there in our lives who are suffering. We might have a friend who's sick or a partner or a child or a grandchild who is sick. If you have someone in your life who's sick, how dare you not worry? Oh my God, that's completely irresponsible. Or if there's some financial stuff going on in your world, how dare you not worry? That's irresponsible. It is your job, right? Come on. You know it's true. Let's just say you have a loved one who is sick. Let's just go with that one. And they're struggling. They are sick. There is an issue of illness and it's difficult and the family's trying to go through this. And there you are, sitting in your little room, breathing deeply and not worrying. You bitch. That's totally irresponsible. Who the hell do you think you are? Right? Take a deep breath. If you could do that, you would be helping your loved one more than all the worry in the world that ever happened, ever will happen, or is happening. Can you do it? That's the question. Let's talk about worry. I'm being slightly facetious, but not really. I'm actually not. That's pretty accurate, isn't it? When you worry, you're actually showing faith in fear. Think about this. We are told we should have faith in the goodness of things. We should have faith in God. We should have faith that things will work out. But when we worry, what we're doing is we are putting faith in the worst. We have faith that things are going to suck. Have faith in fear. We have faith that stuff's just not going to work. I have faith that my grandchild is not going to get over that illness. Well, I must have. I'm worrying. If I had faith that they were going to get well, I wouldn't worry. So we're kind of in a freaking corner here. This is a mess. How do we get out of this tangled up mess? Worry creates illness in your own body. It is essentially saying, I believe that things are not going to work out. When we wake up at 3 a.m. worrying about whatever it is, essentially we're saying, this is not going to go well. I just know it. I'm trying to be strong. I'm trying to be helpful. I'm trying to be loving. I'm trying to be the rock that they need. But oh my God, it's just not going to go well. Faith in the worst happening. And yet, we worry. How do we get out of this mess? We are in a mess. So if I say to you that I have learned how not to worry, would you believe me? Well, here's the truth. I'm not there yet. Oh, I wanted so bad to be able to say I was. Oh, but I promised a long time ago I was going to share my journey with you and be honest. Yep, I still worry. But, hello, there's a but. The truth is, I'm not actually sure there's anyone, maybe enlightened folk. Probably Jesus never worried, right? There are probably some enlightened folk that never worry. I'm guessing probably the Dalai Lama, the Buddha, right? But I think ordinary people, us lowly folk, I'm guessing that there are very few of us that have gotten over worry, that just don't worry. And I'm included in that. But, here's the but, don't forget the but. It is very short-lived, and it's getting less and less and less as the years tick by. And I'm going to tell you how I do that so you can start doing it. That is, of course, if I've convinced you that it's a good idea to stop worrying, and that the most important thing that I need to convince you of here is that you are not helping by worrying. And that if you were to be at peace about that sick child or whatever it is, you are not helping them. No amount of worry can help them. Somehow we think that if I just worry enough, I'm being responsible, I'm being the good grandmother, I'm being the good spouse, because look at me, I'm worried, and that's what I need to do. But that's bullshit. It's not helping. Now, you're thinking, well, if I were all peaceful or even happy and smiling, then I'd look like a real ass when somebody's suffering, wouldn't I? Well, of course you would. You're going to be appropriately empathetic when you're around someone who's suffering, but you're going to send them love and healing vibrations instead of worry. Now, I hope I've convinced you that it's a good idea to try and lessen your worry as much as possible, despite all my facetiousness. So here's how I do it. I start with a willingness. So are you even willing to give it up? For some of us, it's very soothing. I've been worrying all day. Thank God I've done my job. There it is. I can punch a time clock. I did 8 hours of worrying today. I'm a good grandma. So if I can convince you that that's not going to help, so we need to start with willingness. Are you willing to give it up, knowing that it's not helping no matter what is going on in your life and their life, your loved one's life? So if you're willing, that's step 1. Step 2 is Learn how to breathe. I have given you breathing lessons here on the snippets. I've given you breathing downloads. I have a breathing guide that I put in the show notes. Get the guide. Go do a search on your little podcast app and find the snippet on breathing, and I'll probably do more in the future. I talk about it a lot. So learn how to breathe properly. Step 1, you are now willing to handle it. Step 2, you know how to breathe properly. What are you going to do when you start worrying? My dear, you are going to sit quietly with your eyes closed and breathe and breathe and breathe. As you do that, I want you to feel your heart. This is step 3. And feel love for the person or thing that you're concerned about. I want you to feel your heart. I want you to put energy in your heart center while you're breathing and visualize that person and just send them love the whole time you're breathing. And that is 3 steps to getting less and less worry in your life. And when you wake up at 3 in the morning and you realize you're worrying, that's what you're going to do. When you sit down to eat lunch at 1 o'clock in the afternoon and you realize you're worrying, that's what you're going to do. When you're washing the dishes and you realize you're worrying, that's how you're going to stop it. When you're driving down the road and you're worrying, breathe. Send love. And by the way, if it's in your toolkit, a prayer probably wouldn't hurt either, right? So there's 3 steps to getting worry off your plate instantly. But really, honestly, we have to start with being honest with ourselves and realizing that we've actually put a value on it, whether we want to admit it or not. The reason we don't admit it is we know that worrying's pointless and it's also socially unacceptable. So we don't admit it. But please sit down with your journal and ask yourself, have I been feeling like it's my job to worry? And are you willing to decide it's not my job and it's not helping? Once you've done that, you've got step 1, it's willingness. Step 2 is breathing. Step 3 is sending love from your heart and doing this all the time. Every time worry comes up, that's what you'll do. This means you're going to be breathing a lot. A lot, and that's good. Because it will bring you back here to the present moment, and you can't worry in the present moment. Worry is all about the future. All of it. Worry only happens about the future. You are worried about what's going to happen in the future. When you breathe the way I've taught you, it brings you back to the present moment. There it is. I hope that helped. You've now gone from a worrier to a warrior. You're welcome. See you next time. And remember, I am your biggest fan, and I'm always rooting for you. Thanks for popping in. Be sure to come back tomorrow so we can keep your head on straight. Sending you buckets of love.